and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, if you don't know who I am, I'm Anna and this is for my Arts Award. Now, this week I've decided to try something different and I've decided to do a PowerPoint instead of what I normally do when I do like my face-to-face videos, just talking from my notes. I've decided to do a PowerPoint instead because I thought it'd be a bit easier and save me some time putting in pictures. So let's begin with my Arts Award Part B, C and D. And I did this on the 10th of January, so whenever it gets posted, it was all done on the 10th of January when I made the PowerPoint and filmed this. So, starting with Part B, what I have completed. I've tried using traditional lino, I've carved an A4 piece, which is the biggest I've done before, and tried a 2-colour piece. Now, I tried using my traditional lino on around the 8th of December, so my goal previously was to have done that by the 2nd, so I didn't complete that goal. But I decided to combine my two goals of using traditional lino and doing a 2-colour piece. And my 2-colour piece goal was by the 12th of December create a print with multiple colours, and I did that on the 8th, like I said. So I completed that goal but didn't quite complete my using traditional lino by the 2nd. My comparison of traditional versus easy carve lino. So I found the traditional hemp lino so horrible to work with. I really didn't enjoy it. Normally I quite enjoy doing my lino printing. I find it quite calming, but I really didn't enjoy this because it was so crumbly and stiff and firm, and it was just kind of crumbling as I was trying to carve it, and I was having to apply so much pressure. I managed to accidentally cut myself at one point because I was applying so much pressure and slipped. Now, I kind of thought to myself, surely this can't be right. Surely there shouldn't be this much of a difference between the easy carve and the traditional, and it shouldn't be this hard to work with. So I did some research, and apparently the Hobbycraft traditional lino, which is where I got mine, can be bad because it may have been sat in the shop for a long time. So looking back prior, I should have definitely researched this beforehand and checked if it would have been good, but I kind of just assumed Hobbycraft is an art shop, like the stuff in there should be good, but obviously not. So I don't plan on using it again because of it, because I just really didn't enjoy it, and I don't want to spend more money in case it is still bad ordering it online or buying it from somewhere else, because it was quite expensive when I already have my easy carve, and I just wanted to try and compare them basically. I also struggle with the hemp backing of it. If I carve too deep, then my blade would get stuck in the hemp, so I definitely prefer easy carve. So my print with the traditional lino. So I began on the 7th of December, the 7th, not the 8th, so I was feeling quite Christmassy obviously, so I decided I wanted to do a Christmas scene, so I did some brainstorming and this was what I'd come up with. So because I wanted it to be a 2-colour piece, you can see up here and all around that I've got my kind of colour plans on there. So I wanted the cat to be fully in black, these to be in red and obviously white, and then the snowman to have a white outline and a black hat and a red and white scarf. So to do this, I figured out I needed to do these first, carve out all the areas of my piece that I wanted to be white, and then print everything with red, then carve out any areas I wanted to stay red, like this and this, and then print it all with black going over the top of the red so it kind of sandwiches the red and you can't see it underneath the black. I hope that makes sense because it definitely took me a while to try and understand and figure out how I had to do. These were some of my ideas, so a Christmas scene, baubles, a snowman, and then an animal. There are some ideas for animals, and you can see behind this page I also was thinking of doing a Christmas tree, but I decided against it and I decided I wanted to do my Christmas scene. So this was after I'd carved out the background. It took me so much planning, like I said, just to kind of wrap my head around how to actually do it. But like I described just now, that's how I did it, but just typed out instead. So after this, I fully carved it and then I printed it. So I had to print it in red first, and this was my first time using my red ink, which my red ink was water-based instead of my normal oil-based ink, which I definitely prefer. It was so much easier just to wash off of everything, and I could just wipe down my brayer and my ink tray and it just washed off straight away, and it came off my hands so much easier. It also dried so much quicker. My other ones I normally have to leave for just about under a week to fully dry, but this dried within the day. So I will definitely be using my water-based inks again, and I definitely really enjoyed it. So obviously, because I have to carve it away during the process, I decided I needed to do quite a few, because once it's been carved away, I obviously can't reprint it ever. So I did 6, and these were some of them after I printed with red, but they were all rather similar. So this first one, you can see there's quite a lot of jitter and chatter in the background. So I went back, carved a bit more of that out, and this is how it looked afterwards. So a lot better, but I was missing patches of ink. So I re-inked, and this was kind of how the rest of them turned out, and I was quite happy with this. So to make sure I got them in the same place every time when I reprinted over the top of the back, I traced around my line. As you can kind of see my pen lines around it. And then I placed it on top of there, stuck a darning needle through my cardboard, and before I printed any of them, I stuck my paper on top of my darning needle and made a hole at the very top so it doesn't affect the print at all, and then pushed it down, so then when I come back with my paper, I press it down and it will be in the same place. Sadly, this didn't actually work very well, as you're about to see. So I carved away all the areas I want to stay red. So you can see my baubles have gone here, the hat's gone. I carved away a bit of the carrot so it kind of be that contrast. And you can see the previous red, even though I did wipe it off quite a bit, it doesn't wipe off perfectly, obviously. So I'm about to show you all 6 of my results. Sadly, like I was saying just now, my darning needle I did didn't work, as when I was printing with the red, I don't think I made sure my needle was fully like straight up and level and vertical, and it was slightly angled each time, and because it was at a different angle each time, my paper didn't perfectly line up. For my final 2, however, I decided to just try lining it up with my eyes and try and match it, which I do think was actually better. So if I were to do it again, I would definitely come up with a different plan and get some different ideas of what other people do. I did look online as to what other people do, but a lot of people use kind of fancy things, and I did try to kind of make my own for cheap, which I probably could have came up with a better idea looking back. So as you can see here, it doesn't perfectly match at all. This is supposed to be covering all this red, and the whiskers should match, and this should all be covered. I also didn't have enough ink, as you can see kind of coming through that. This was my next one, and my next one, you can see this one has a lot more ink than the other ones because I figured out I definitely didn't have enough ink just in general on it. But this one was really bad. You can really see the kind of 2 colour ways, like up here behind that. That should be on top of that, and that on top of that. So it definitely didn't match up perfectly. My next one quite similar. And then I think this one I tried lining up with my eyes. You can see it matched up a lot better over here and over here. The hat was slightly off, but overall this one was definitely one of my best ones, I think. And so was this one. So that's what I've done for part B so far, sorry. And I want to do another piece with lettering in, and then I think that's going to be it for my part B. I might do another piece after that. I've not decided yet, but yeah, we'll see. So for part C, I've written my first review, and it's of when I saw Coldplay in Wembley Stadium in September. And I'm going to read it aloud as I've handwritten it, and then these were some pictures just of me there. So, Coldplay review for part C. I found the concert absolutely brilliant. I went with my family on the 6th of September, and the show started with support acts which were Thames, Eliana and Gustavo Dudamel, and the Simon Bolivar Symphony Orchestra of Venezuela, which really warmed up the crowd as everyone entered. After the support acts, the show began at 8:15 with a setlist of 23 songs. As Coldplay entered the stage with our wristbands began to light up and create gorgeous displays throughout the crowd, and the fireworks were set off, beginning the evening of fun, creating an immersive feel. As you can see up here in this picture, you can see how the wristbands work to make like the hearts in the crowd, and they were all synchronized throughout lots of parts of the show. The following songs featured giant balloons and confetti whilst the wristbands kept on synchronizing. This was a magical moment with so much going on and such a great visual aid to the music. For the next song, the band singer Chris Martin encourages the audience to put down their phones and live in the moment, making it feel a very intimate, emotional atmosphere, and that was definitely one of my favourite moments of the show. The band works very hard to make their show have tons of imagery with the amazing music, visual effects like their magic glasses which create rainbow hearts and stars all around you, and the very lucky fan chosen to go on stage and sing with Chris. There was a very sweet moment with an onstage proposal between the people holding the puppets, which was a lovely surprise. The concert also had comedic moments with a security guard coming on stage with an alien mask and dancing. The music was very raw and emotional at times, whilst other moments were great to dance and sing to, with some brilliant lyrics, and a lot of their songs felt very bittersweet. The band dressed very casually like any other average person, adding to the intimate family atmosphere. I thoroughly enjoyed the show and would love to go again, and I can't think of anything I didn't enjoy. It was definitely a lovely evening, full of every emotion, and everybody I met was so friendly, so I definitely recommend anybody who likes their music go to their shows. So that was my review. I hope you liked it, and as you can see, these were just pictures of me here. I dressed up in yellow, obviously, because the song Yellow, and I did make all our painted jackets. That was definitely fun, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend it. So, part D, I've decided to research 2 careers in the arts just because I literally couldn't choose between the 2. Being a seamstress and dressmaker, similar thing obviously, and being an author. So, I'm going to try and find somebody to interview within these careers. To find them, I put out a post on some local Facebook groups to see if any locals knew of or are seamstresses or authors, and I've spoken to some of my neighbours and locals in local groups I go to, and just knocked on some doors and things and see if anybody knew. I also did some of my own research online to try and find people within these careers, so I've sent emails to some of these people, so I'll post any responses in my next video, and I may have done an interview by then, hopefully. This was the post I put on Facebook, as you can see there, just basically explaining I need to find people within the arts. They're my preferred careers that I'd really like to try and research, and it's just my school, and I need to do an interview with them, basically. I also looked into some local college courses because obviously after my GCSEs that would be my next step, and I found this really interesting actually. So this was for fashion design and seamstressing and stuff. This course here, I think this one was specifically on like fashion textiles it was on, that's what it was on, and then this was just kind of art and design because that college didn't offer anything more specific. So what you learn in the course, different things. Oh, sorry. I was trying to zoom in. So, oh my lord. There we go. I don't use PowerPoint very much. So, students will develop practical, theoretical and written skills needed to progress in art and design. So you explore different genres of art and design. Some of those include fashion and textiles, which obviously is what I'd want to do within the course. So that's about their lectures, teaching, assessments, tutorials, how you're assessed, and then entry requirements, which are 5 GCSEs or equivalent. So obviously this is kind of equivalent, and functional skills and stuff are equivalent, but I have got 5 GCSEs. And then a grade 4 above in GCSE art, which I have a grade 5 in my GCSE art, and then English and maths. So I can definitely apply for some of these courses. I definitely could. And then these were some of the things after the course, just what you can go into from it. So career opportunities in fashion, which it would be what I'd want to do. This was another local college, and this one, like I said, was in textiles. Art and design usually progressed the art and design diploma and foundation studies, and then these were some of the specific things you could do in there. So photography, fashion, textile design, fashion illustration, furniture design, illustration, surface pattern design, theatre costume, shoes, sportwear and lingerie design. So then these were some of the places that other students have progressed to, just some well-known universities and things like that. And then it's also possible to find apprenticeships in the arts and events, with Somerset-based bridal and dressmaking businesses and another in Mulberry that offer apprenticeships. So if I wanted to go to an apprenticeship instead of college or after college, that is definitely something I could do. This here was more on apprenticeships, and this video I'll play for you on kind of what it's like being in the fashion industry. This video I watched here, a lady explaining her career, what she does day to day, 37 hours working per week on average, and then these were different salary ranges. They definitely ranged quite a lot, I found, between places. This here was study routes that you could go down, things you could study for your A-levels, which were things I was looking at, obviously. These were then apprenticeship options, so sewing machinist, a garment maker, and some other ones. So I decided to look more into being a garment maker, level 3 apprenticeship, as you can see here. So I looked at that. So this is just the overview of what you do being an apprenticeship there. It's a level 3 apprenticeship. The occupation summary, I read all of this, but I'm not going to read it to you because it's quite long, but some of the daily work, things you do, kind of making garments, designing them, working with other people there, interacting with tailors and things like that. Here, some of the job titles you can get from this, kind of tailors, costume makers, seamstresses, and then these were the KSBs, so the knowledges down here, the skills and behaviours. So they're the skills, as you can see, and then these are behaviours from the apprenticeship. So I then found a really good website called getmyfirstjob.co.uk, or something like that, but it was Get My First Job, as you can see there. And this had loads of different careers and occupations on. So I decided to look into becoming a sewing machinist, because that would be very similar, and an author. So you'll see that in the next ones I show. So skills and knowledge that you need. So attention to detail, work with your hands, concentration, patience, remaining calm, working with others in a team, analysing quality of performance, working alone as well as working in a team, manufacturing production, and then carry out basic day-to-day tasks on a computer. So becoming a sewing machinist, you can say a college course, apprenticeship, or applying directly. So obviously I looked at all of them. Some of the college courses that you could go into, so like award in fashion, textiles, things like that. Then these are day-to-day tasks that you may be doing, so following instructions, sewing different fabrics, drawing threads, doing changing machine settings, feeding material through the machine, stitch together clothes, check finished work, clean out machines, and then quality controls. These are some of the working environments. As you can see, it varies quite a lot between a factory, creative studio, or from home, and you may be working in an environment that's noisy and dusty. So I found this really helpful, this website, so I definitely look at it again for any other careers I might want to do, because they have more than just arts on there, but I definitely found it really interesting as to give me kind of like knowledge before I get into that career almost. This here is now onto if I wanted to be an author or poet. So many students to take English language. This was an English language course. Pursue a career in creative writing or journalism, which is what I'd want to do. So the kind of writing students work on: poetry, short stories, sports journalism, travel writing. Some of the topics you can write on during the course. And then these were some of the progression things. So you can go into creative writing and or journalism, which would definitely be good. And you can then go into study linguistics at uni further from there. This was a website called, as you can see up here, NAWE. I'm not sure how to say it. I think it's just NAWE. National Association of Writers in Education. There you go. Apprenticeships in fiction. So aiming for publication and things like that. You can then join on to things like this and trying to get an apprenticeship in there to join and begin writing novels and things like that. So that would definitely be good to do. So apprenticeships benefit from engaging directly with experienced writer mentor who will guide them through the process of writing a first novel from first draft to completion. So basically you write a novel whilst you work there, and it's kind of a boot camp for writers, they describe it as. And you can write lots of different things, so specialist areas, literacy, commercial fiction, crime, fantasy, fiction, children, and fiction for children and young people. some of the things the scheme involves, and this was definitely good to look at and something I could always consider. So these are some of the volunteering opportunities as well. This was off of Get My First Job, the volunteering opportunities, which they didn't have on there for sewing machinist, but they did for being an author. So some of the opportunities are joining a local writers group, entering writing competitions and blogging. So I can definitely look at doing some of those things to progress into that career and add to my resume and things like that. So I am part of my school's writing group as well, which I really enjoy, and I have done writing competitions in the past, but I could definitely look at doing some more and seeing if I win, obviously. So this is the then Get My First Job page for that. So becoming a writer, uni course, volunteering, which I just spoke about, applying directly, or self-teaching. Some of the things you need, so English language, which obviously I can speak, written communication skills, persistence, determination, verbal communication, use your initiative, come up with new ways of doing things, ambition, I think that says, and a desire to succeed, knowledge of the media, and to be able to use a computer competently. Some of the university courses you can then go to get higher qualifications, so creative writing, communication and media, English language or English literature, creative writing, professional writing and journalism, and that was on there. So now on to my beginning of Unit 2. So I've begun kind of thinking of ideas for Unit 2. I've not begun very thoroughly yet. I've not done my Part A yet, but that's what I'm going to be aiming to do next. So my main idea is going to a local school and running a series of workshops, kind of doing nature crafts and things like that. So I was thinking doing kind of sea glass pictures one week with sea glass from a beach, using pressed flowers, doing like mini nature books, because I remember doing them when I was little, and then doing like flower and leaf imprints and things like that. So that's my idea, going to a local primary school. So I'm going to get in contact with a few local primary schools and see if any would be happy for me to do that there and speak to some headmasters. So that's it for today. My aims for that I've done before I post my next video. So I want to kind of get these done within the next couple of weeks, and I know I haven't posted another video in a while, but it's been so busy over Christmas I didn't kind of expect to post one that soon anyways. So I'm just trying to get one out and just put all my work into a video so it doesn't all pile up and then I have to do a really long one. So I'm trying to keep consistent. So my aims by my next video to complete a piece with lettering for Part B, a review of Part B if I've finished it, my second Part C review, which I've literally been looking at a pantomime earlier this morning to go to that I could review, because I don't just want to do other concerts I've been to, I feel I should do something different as well. My responses and maybe my interviews for Part D if I've got them set up in time, and then I want to complete Part A for my Unit 2 like I was just speaking about, and start talking to some local schools. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Goodbye everybody.